Hello, I'm Jake de Boer. Welcome to another edition of the Travel Magazine. Today we'll discover that there's a lot more to Bermuda than relaxing on the beach. For the sportsman, there's a vast array of exciting activities. We'll visit Ireland's most regal accommodation, Ashford Castle. This historic home is very much part of the 20th century. But right now, we'll visit Gelderland, Holland's largest province. It is a dynamic place for both the Dutch and the discriminating tourist. Although a modern province, it's strongly committed to preserving its historic past. Gelderland, the largest province in Holland, is a well-known vacation spot for the Dutch. It's home to the Veluwe, one of Holland's national parks, the popular open-air museum, and to Arnhem, Gelderland's capital city, and the site of Operation Market Garden during the Second World War. Our trip began with a recount of the story of a bridge too far.
It was planned to be the final activity in the so-called Operation Market Garden, the most daring airborne operation, the largest airborne operation in the history. The British and Polish parachutists were dropped here, and it was their task to keep the bridge for a couple of days until the Allied soldiers, the Americans, the Canadians would come from the south. And the idea was that they would cut off the Germans from the western part of Holland, and that the Allies could get into northwest Germany, and finally was the idea to get to Berlin and to end the war earlier than everybody would think. This building is the former Hotel Heitenstein. It served as headquarters of the British General Urquhart, and later on it was turned into a museum where visitors can see a large collection of original weapons, pieces of equipment, many photos, documents, and a large model of this area. This area was the area where the actual landings, the droppings of the parachutists took place.
The open-air museum just outside of Arnhem is another place that offers a look at Dutch history.
The idea is to present a picture of the daily life of the Dutch people in the past. Not of the very far away past, but the life of the Dutchman in especially the 18th and the 19th century. Over 500,000 visitors from every part of the world come here between April and November to look around, and what they can see, well, you can see it around you. These are all original buildings which were dismantled and rebuilt in the museum brick by brick.
Are there any special attractions here?
During the summer there's a lot of activities, there's a lot of special exhibitions. But I think what is very interesting for people to see are the demonstrations of old rural craft, of old handicraft. There is, for instance, a small bakery where you can see how in earlier days the bread baking was being done. And it smells so nice there. And visitors can also buy this bread, and they say it tastes completely different from what we can buy in the average shop. And there is, for instance, nice demonstration of the so-called poffertjesbakker. Now, I don't know what the word for poffertjes is in English, but the poffertjes are the very small sort of pancakes. And they're being served with nice hot butter and powder sugar on it, and it is the nicest sweet you can think of. And what I think is very interesting for the visitors is the paper mill, an old mill where you can see how paper was made in earlier days.
This is the old-fashioned paper, always made from linen or cotton. Linen for writing paper and cotton for printing paper.
The National Park is a 13,000-acre nature reserve, and in its center is situated an extensive collection of original art. Why is this museum referred to as the Vincent van Gogh Museum?
That is because the heart of the collection of the State Museum Kröller-Müller, as it is officially named, is a collection of 278 works of Vincent van Gogh. It used to be the private collection of Mrs. Kröller-Müller. She collected art in the beginning of this century, while her husband, Mr. Kröller, was sort of, so you could put it, collecting nature. Mr. Kröller bought bit by bit what is nowadays the beautiful national park, the Hoge Veluwe, and Mrs. Kröller collected the art.
I know from my own youth that the Dutch people, as well as visitors, really cherish this beautiful national park.
They do. I think it's, for the Dutch, it's the main nature reserve, nature park that we've left in Holland. And I think in the first place of the so-called white bicycles, there's a special free service to all the visitors in the park. It's more than 13,000 acres, which means to Dutch people quite a lot, because we're such a dense populated country and people can do a lot.
When we return, we'll prove that you don't have to be blue-blooded to enjoy a regal lifestyle in Ireland. Ireland's Ashford Castle is majestic. It has been meticulously constructed over the centuries. As a traditional hotel, it has been successful in blending the old with the new. Jennifer Gibson tells us about the regal services offered by this unique ancient castle.
Ashford Castle is in the western part of Ireland, and it's one of the world's top hotels. There are 500 acres here of woods and parkland, and tourists who stay here can do everything from playing golf to salmon fishing to horseback riding. Well, we spent a day here trying to cover all the things that you can do, just to give you an idea of how incredible this place really is.
The castle was built in stages over hundreds of years. The oldest part dates back to the 11th century. But the final stage wasn't actually completed until the 20th century. Rory Murphy is the managing director of this amazing hotel, and he knows just about everything there is to know about its history.
That centre portion there is the French shooting chateau, and that was built then in the 18th century by Lord O'Morne-Bryan, who was part of the Guinness family. And he was succeeded by Sir Benjamin Lee Guinness, who built the next section here, which was known as the house section. And he was succeeded in turn by his son, Lord Ardelon, who was a marvellous man, who connected up the last section with the original, which is the De Burgo part. And that made it the complete Ashford Castle as such.
And so then you've got the most modern part over here. This is the last bit to be...
That was built some less than 20 years ago, that portion over there. And special attention, of course, is paid to the stonework there. It was specially arranged and specially got to blend in with the castle, and as you can see now, it's hard to differentiate between the old and the new.
At one time, the estate was about 2,200 acres of land. And although today the castle doesn't have that much land, there's still a lot of space here.
Well, the grounds themselves, we have 500 acres, and of course we have acres of gardens, as you may have seen.
But as well as the gardens, this castle has a spectacular location right on the edge of a lake.
This is known as Lough Corrib, which is the second largest lake in Ireland. And it has 365 islands. And it's very famous for its fishing, of course. Very famous for its trout fishing and salmon fishing. And we here at the castle have some 14 gillies with boats who are available for guests to go out fishing with.
On the day that we were there, Stephen Lydon, the head gillie, took me out in his boat. Stephen's been taking people fishing at Ashford Castle since he was a boy.
I started going out when I was going to school with my uncle, and when the hotel opened in here, they were short of boatmen, so I started taking people out, and ever since that, then I take people out. So I've met a lot of different people, including John Wayne. I had him out fishing.
Tell me about that.
Well, we were out one Sunday and we caught 2 trout. We weren't very long out. We had lunch out and we came back in then. So that was he wasn't a great fisherman, but he liked going out, you know.
What's the largest fish that someone's ever caught here?
The largest trout I've caught is 17.5. And the largest salmon I've caught is 28 pound.
28 pounds
Yes,
salmon?
yes.
Where did you catch that?
Yeah, just out here outside the islands. The year before last, I got a trout, 14.5.
Pounds?
Yes.
14.5 pound trout?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
That's the second biggest one I've caught, yeah.
When you got it on the line, what was it like
it takes
for you?
about an hour, took over an hour to land. Yeah.
Over an hour. Were you exhausted?
Well, you'd be wondering, was he going to get away every minute, so you'd be excited, you know.
But if you're someone who prefers to stay on land, you can spend a lovely day here traveling around the grounds by pony cart. John Liskin is the head Jarvey.
You have various places of interest here. Right in the grounds of Ashford here alone are beautiful, and you can go right around about by the lake. You have full view of the lake at all times, and most of all times where you're on the jumping car.
It's about a long way around, isn't it? I mean, it's a lot of land.
Oh, it is. You can either do a half an hour tour or an hour tour. You could wait out for the whole day if you want to go right around the whole area.
What would you recommend people, if they were coming to stay here, what would you recommend that they do?
Get up on the jumping car.
Go for a ride. It looks as though it would be an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think we might just go for a ride with you ourselves.
Okay,
So
sure.
thanks
Why not?
So much.
Why not? Yeah.
Ashford Castle has its own private golf course.
I think it's one of the best 9-hole golf courses you can get in this country at the moment. So it's small, but yet it's big. Like, it's a good 3 miles walk after finishing the 9 holes.
Do you get a lot of tourists coming here just to play golf?
You get a lot, yeah. You get a lot of professionals, a few professionals. Tom Watson comes here regular before he goes to the British Open to play golf.
What, does he practice up here?
Practices here, yeah. With Tom Watson in at least once a year before he goes to Britain.
What would you tell tourists about golfing in Ireland?
First of all, take an umbrella, because you start raining very quick on you. But no, it's a very nice country for golf, because you've got the landscape, got everything.
Well, one of the things you have to look out for when you're playing golf at Ashford Castle is the pheasants that wander around the course and just about everywhere else on the castle grounds. At certain times of the year, game hunting is really popular here. Just outside the castle wall is the tiny, picturesque town of Caen. It's a pretty walk from the castle, and it's well worth the visit. Inside Ashford Castle, the rooms are magnificent.
Here we are. This is the presidential suite, which was occupied by President and Mrs. Reagan on their visit to Ireland some 3 years ago. We have 82 rooms, and including that are 12 luxurious suites. We have an international restaurant, which is the main restaurant, and we have some 17 chefs working in that kitchen.
Well, we spent a whole day wandering around here, and if your idea of a holiday is luxury in the country, I really don't think you can beat this place. The castle itself is magnificent, but it's all the things that you can do in the surrounding countryside that make it such a fantastic place to stay. Ashford Castle really is one of the best hotels in the world.
Next, we'll find out where to play your favorite sport year-round. Bermuda is known for its mild climate, British heritage, and pink beaches. It's a good place to relax. Jackie Perrin spoke with 3 sporting gentlemen to find out what activities are available on this subtropical paradise.
Wow, not bad for a beginner.
I think you're a natural.
You know, Bermuda has the greatest number of golf courses per square mile of any country in the world. And with 9 courses in about, 21 square miles, that's a lot of golf, and that's a real duffer's delight. And with me is Ron Rabaney, and we're here at the Riddles Bay Golf Course. You're the pro here, and this wasn't a bad swing for a beginner. Now, really admit that. I have to get enough.
I had it.
You were just up a few moments ago on the 8th tee, and that is an incredible shot up there.
Yeah, well, today the shot was playing kind of easy because the wind's about 25 knots, and the wind's behind me, so the ball carried actually 50 yards, and I hit it about 290 for a change. So that was pretty good.
Riddles Bay is the oldest golf course here in Bermuda, isn't it?
Been here since 1922.
What makes it such a special course?
Yeah, the wind is really effective here. You can hit a ball 20 feet high and the wind will move it. The ball doesn't have to be that high for it to be effective.
Tell me about the golf course layouts here.
Well, one thing about Bermuda, they're much more hilly. You get all different types of lies and stances and stuff like that. Compared to abroad in the States and Canada, they're much flatter. So I guess they enjoy the different terrains and helps them sharpen the games up a little bit.
Are courses designed for the average golfer as well as the more professional golfer?
This course in particular is designed for any kind of golfer. Courses like Mid-Ocean and Port Royal are designed for the lower handicaps. The guys that play in the high 70s and low 80s, they enjoy it more than the high handicappers.
Who are some of the great golf pros who have come over here?
Well, we had Jack Nicklaus, George Knudsen, Gary Player, Chichi Rodriguez, and a few others.
When is the best time of the year to play golf in Bermuda?
The best time is between October and June. It's not too hot. It's a little breezy in March, but the rest of the months is quite nice.
Robert Trent Jones has designed 3 of the 9 golf courses here in Bermuda. And Mr. Jones, what makes it so challenging designing courses here?
Well, the terrain is so beautiful. One of them is right on the ocean. All the holes are on the ocean. And this one, as you see, has rolling land, ocean views. And this was quite rugged. And we moved 500,000 cubic yards of earth to change it to what it is right now. But you'd hardly know it had been changed because it's so natural looking.
Here at Port Royal, the 16th hole is world famous. What makes it so unique?
Well, it's the shooting right at the ocean. And it's the ocean hole. When I saw that, I said, this is it, It's got to be a world famous golf course with this setting. And it has become that because you not only got the ocean in the background, miles and miles of ocean and the wind, so it makes it a very difficult golf hole, but very spectacular.
What's the secret of hitting well off this tee?
Getting on the green. If you get on the green, you're a hero. No, he's pushed it.
But at least he's not in the water.
No.
Aside from golf, there are a lot of other activities visitors can do here in Bermuda. What better person to talk about them than Reggie Cooper, who was captain of the 1964 and 1968 Olympic yachting team. What are some of the other activities you can do here on the island?
We have a myriad of activities, and particularly in sport, we have horseback riding.
That's interesting. You can go across the beach in the morning, I
Yeah,
understand.
they run them early in the morning. I think it's around 6 o'clock in the morning, and they take them over to the beach, and the horses run up and down, and it's just it's a fabulous sight.
Very exhilarating.
Oh, yeah. Tennis is very well represented in Bermuda. It was actually, tennis was born in Bermuda.
Really?
Yeah, and the first court built in this part of the world was Bermudian, and then it was taken to the United States.
Can visitors rent yachts or rent sailboats?
Absolutely. We have, as far as I can remember, we have about 4 very good boat rental areas, and the visitors can get on charters or they can rent individual boats, whatever they want to do.
Weeks here for young people is the annual College Week. That's where hundreds of kids, mostly from the United States, converge on Bermuda for a week of sun and fun.
All right, look at that side. Through the line up, kids.
That's it for another edition of the Travel Magazine. Join us again as we show you different ways to travel the world. Until then, I'm Jake de Boer. Happy traveling.